go. We are worlds apart, please.
You have brought shame upon us all. I did nothing. You're mistaken. Lies. The spirits demand justice. So please.
From today onwards, you will not step outside after sunset.
Every village has that one person whose presence means Wahala is nearby. In Umuyeli, that person was Ifeanyi, a 27-year-old man known for three things: his constant involvement in other people's business, his ability to twist stories like hot chin-chin dough, his envy of anyone who got attention that wasn't his. Ifeanyi had once wanted to go to the city, but failed after several attempts. He wanted respect, but nobody took him seriously. He wanted a destiny, but he felt the world ignored him. So when he saw Uchenna meeting a mysterious girl at midnight by the river, he sensed a story he could use, a story he could sell, a story that could make him relevant, a story that could make the entire village focus on him for once. He licked his lips and whispered, "City boy, you don't enter am." Uchenna couldn't concentrate the next morning. He kept replaying everything: Adaora's voice, her eyes, the way she dissolved into water, and the unsettling presence of that unknown watcher. He barely managed his breakfast, akara and hot pap, before his mind wandered back to the river. Who was she really? A spirit? A cursed human? A river guardian? He needed answers, but he also noticed something strange. Everywhere he went, people stared at him longer than usual. Some whispered, some laughed quietly, some shook their heads with pity. Uchenna didn't understand why until he reached the village square. Ifeanyi stood in the center, surrounded by eager villagers, men tapping their walking sticks on the ground, women folding their wrappers dramatically, children pretending to fetch water as they eavesdropped. He was holding the hand of a water maiden, Ifeanyi declared. "I saw it with my two eyes." The crowd gasped. A water maiden? Who sent him there? These city children don't listen. Oh, his future is finished. Uchenna froze. One of the women turned and spotted him. Ah, there he is, the boy that the river has chosen. Before he could speak, people began murmuring and retreating slightly, as though he carried invisible fire. Ifeanyi smiled wickedly. Uchenna walked forward, trying to keep his voice steady. "I don't know what Ifeanyi is talking about. Nothing happened at the river." "You think we are fools? I saw you. I saw the maiden. Or is she your girlfriend from Lagos that turned to fish overnight?" Laughter erupted. Heat rushed through Uchenna's face. He clenched his jaw. "You're lying, Ifeanyi." "Oh, then swear," Ifeanyi challenged, stepping closer. "Swear that you didn't see a maiden at the river last night." The crowd hummed. Villagers love drama more than fresh palm wine. Uchenna hesitated, not because he was guilty, but because swearing meant admitting he saw something supernatural, and every Nigerian child knew you don't swear on village matters involving spirits unless you want trouble. Ifeanyi saw the hesitation and smirked triumphantly. Aha, he cannot swear. The crowd erupted again. He is marked. He has been chosen. This boy will bring trouble this Christmas. Uchenna turned away, heart pounding, shame burning through his chest. He needed answers, and only Adaora could give them. That night, Uchenna didn't wait for full moonlight. He went early. The river was still, almost suspiciously calm. "Adaora," he called, "please, I need to talk to you. At first, nothing happened. Then, ripples. She rose slowly, eyes glowing with soft blue light, face serious. You shouldn't have come today, she whispered. Everyone is talking, he blurted out. They think I'm cursed. They think the river marked me. Adaora's eyes softened with sympathy. The river did not mark you, she said, but it has noticed you. That doesn't make me feel any better, he muttered. She sighed, sitting gently on a smooth rock at the water's edge. Tiny droplets shimmered around her like floating diamonds. There is a rule, she said. Humans must not see us, but once someone does, the river begins to follow their path. Why me? You came with a troubled spirit. The river feels such things. Uchenna swallowed. Are you a spirit? Adaora looked away. Once, I was human. His heart thudded. What happened to you? Before she answered, she touched the water, and an image formed on its surface, like a mirror reshaping itself. The scene showed a young girl in village attire, laughing as she fetched water with other maidens. That was me, she said, before I drowned 5 years ago. Uchenna sucked in a breath. Your body never returned to the surface, she continued, because the river chose me to guard it. So you're trapped? Adaora smiled. Bound, not trapped. Uchenna stared at her, overwhelmed. A human turned guardian, a girl lost to the water, and now she was tied to the river forever. But why did you speak to me? He asked. She hesitated. You came to the river with pain in your heart, she said. The river responds to hearts louder than footsteps. Uchenna didn't know whether to feel honored or terrified. He sat down, rubbing his forehead. What happens now? Will something bad happen to me? Adaora's eyes flickered with worry. I don't know, but the river's attention is not always a blessing. Before Uchenna could ask more, she suddenly looked toward the bushes, tense. Someone is coming. Footsteps approached, voices. Uchenna panicked. I have to go. Adaora grabbed his wrist. Come tomorrow, she whispered urgently. Alone, it is important. Why? Her voice dropped to a trembling whisper. Because the river has begun to shift. Something is coming, and it involves you. Uchenna didn't know what she meant, but her fear felt real, and she had never looked afraid before. He ran into the night as shadows approached the riverbank. By the next morning, the village was buzzing like a disturbed anthill. People surrounded the square, whispering over calabashes of palm wine. Someone followed the city boy to the river again. The maiden appeared. We must call the elders. This is how bad things start. The village chief, Ogbuefi Maduako, a tall man with wide beard and deep voice, called for a council meeting at once. Uchenna arrived to find half the village gathered, elders, women leaders, palm wine tappers, youths, even pastors. He felt like a goat, being prepared for slaughter. Ogbuefi tapped his staff on the ground. Uchenna, son of Mosu, he said gravely, is it true that you have been visiting the river at night? Uchenna swallowed. Yes, but the crowd gasped. Ifeanyi smirked proudly. But I didn't do anything wrong, Uchenna argued. Nothing wrong? One elderly woman exclaimed. You and a water maiden were holding hands. Another man added, "Do you want the river spirits to swallow our children this Christmas?" Uchenna raised his voice, frustration burning through him. "She's not evil. She's not hurting anyone." This shocked the crowd even more. "You want to defend a spirit? Is he normal? He is possessed." Ifeanyi stepped forward like a champion. "Chief, this boy is a danger. He is consorting with river spirits. We must send him away before the festival." Voices erupted. "Send him away! Yes, before misfortune falls on us." A boy who walks with spirits is not ordinary. Owefi lifted his staff. The crowd fell silent. "Uchenna," he said quietly, "you will remain indoors after sunset until Christmas Day. If you disobey, the village will act." Uchenna's chest tightened. House arrest? Over a story nobody fully understood? He opened his mouth to argue, but a hand touched his shoulder. Mama Nkechi. She had arrived from Lagos unexpectedly that morning. "My son," she whispered firmly, "let it go." Her eyes begged him, not because she believed the villagers, but because she feared what fighting people could do. Uchenna clenched his teeth and nodded, but in his heart, he knew he would return to the river, because Adaora's warning echoed through his mind. Something is coming, and it involves you. That evening, lanterns flickered across the village. Families cooked early dinners. Windows shut early. The harmattan wind blew strange dust across the sky. Uchenna sat inside, staring at the door. He knew he wasn't supposed to leave. He knew the village would erupt if they caught him. He knew Adaora told him to come alone. But he also knew this. Whenever destiny knocks, fear cannot answer the door. He picked up his lantern quietly, opened the door, and slipped into the night. The path to the river felt heavier, like the air itself watched him. The trees swayed slowly. Frogs croaked warnings, and when he reached the river, Adaora was waiting, not emerging, not rising, just standing, half human, half water, like she had been waiting all night. "You came," she breathed. "Tell me what's happening," he said firmly. Her eyes shone with worry. "The river has chosen," she whispered, "and its choice is dangerous." Before Uchenna could respond, a scream tore through the night. A human scream. Close. Panicked. Adaora's eyes widened. Uchenna spun around. Someone was running toward them, tripping, falling, scrambling in terror. Another scream. Then Uchenna saw the face. Ifeanyi, the troublemaker, covered in mud, shaking, eyes wild with horror. He stared at Uchenna, then at Adaora, then at the river behind her, and he screamed again. "The river is angry!" Ifeanyi stumbled backward, pointing at the water with trembling fingers. "I didn't do anything. I swear," he cried, voice cracking like dried firewood. Uchenna rushed forward and grabbed him by the shoulders. "What happened?" Ifeanyi could barely speak. The river shifted. I wanted to see if the stories were true. I wanted to prove that the maiden, this girl, didn't exist. But, he broke down, chest heaving. Adaora stepped closer, expression unreadable, her glow pulsing like a heartbeat. The river warned you, she said softly. No, Ifeanyi shouted. It tried to drag me. It moved like a snake. The water rose on its own. No wind, no fish, just anger. Uchenna frowned. Why would the river be angry with you? Adaora answered calmly. Because he crossed the line between curiosity and insult. Ifeanyi fell to the ground, holding his head. I'm finished. I'm finished. I didn't know. I didn't know she was real. Adaora knelt beside him, not touching, not judging, but watching him with a strange sadness. Humans think spirits do not see, she whispered, but we see everything. The river behind her rippled, slow at first, then faster, like something beneath the surface was turning over. Uchenna instinctively stepped in front of Ifeanyi. Is the river going to punish him? Adaora looked at Uchenna instead of answering. Her eyes were soft, too soft. You came tonight because you felt something calling you, she said. Yes, Uchenna replied. You said something involves me. The river roared, not loud, but deep, like thunder rolling underwater. Adaora took a shaky breath. Then, for the first time since he met her, she looked afraid. Uchenna, she said, voice trembling. Every 50 years, the river chooses a soul. Uchenna blinked. A soul? For what? To restore balance. Ifeanyi whimpered behind him. Adaora continued. Some souls are taken. Some are transformed. Some are given power. The river chooses based on the heart that calls loudest. Uchenna felt chills crawl up his arms. So, whose soul is he choosing this time? Adaora hesitated too long. Then she whispered, Yours. Uchenna's throat tightened. Mine? Why me? Because your spirit is unsettled and your heart carries a weight heavier than you show. He felt exposed, like she had read through his memories, his failures, his disappointment, his fears of becoming nothing, his quiet longing to be seen, to matter, to have purpose. Adaora stood. The river believes you are strong enough to carry what is coming. What is coming? He asked urgently, but Adaora didn't answer. Instead, the water behind her parted, like curtains pulled aside by invisible hands. A glowing blue pathway stretched across the river. Ifeanyi screamed again and crawled behind a tree. But Uchenna? He stared, drawn. The river called to him, not with words, but with a deep vibration that traveled through his bones. Adaora watched him with a pained expression. You can walk the path, she said quietly. If you do, you will see your true destiny. And if I don't, the river will choose another path, but it will not stop calling you. He felt torn in half. A part of him screamed to run home, hide under a blanket, and forget everything. Another part, the part that felt alive for the first time since arriving in this village, leaned forward. "Will I die?" he asked. Adaora swallowed. "Not unless you resist what is meant for you." The answer did not comfort him. Still, he took one step toward the glowing pathway. The river hummed, Ifeanyi shrieked, and Adaora whispered, so softly it barely carried over the wind. "This is only the beginning." Uchenna stood at the edge of the glowing path. The moon hung above him like a silent witness. The river shimmered beneath. He felt Adaora's gaze on him. "Why didn't the river choose you?" he asked suddenly. Adaora's face hardened, like he had touched a wound. "It did choose me," she said quietly. "But I was too young to understand what it meant. When I drowned, it took me and bound me. I became its guardian." Her voice quivered. "I didn't get a choice." The pain in those words pierced Uchenna deeper than the river's call. "You're still human inside," he said softly. Adaora looked shocked, as if no one had said those words to her in years. Then she turned away, glow dimming. A moment of silence hung between them. Finally, Uchenna spoke. "If I walk this path, what happens to you?" Adaora froze. "I cannot tell you," she said. "Guardians are forbidden from influencing a chosen soul." "That sounds like a lie of omission," Uchenna muttered. She turned sharply. "This is not a game. This is destiny." "Then why do you look scared?" Adaora's lips pressed tightly. She had no answer, and that terrified Uchenna more than any spirit ever could. He turned to the glowing path again. His foot hovered above it. He closed his eyes. Then, a thunderous boom shook the reed. A thunderous boom shook the riverbank. Water splashed upward like a rising wall. Adaora gasped. "No, this is too soon." Uchenna stumbled back. "What's happening?" The water behind Adaora twisted violently, forming a towering column that reached toward the sky. Ifeanyi fainted on the spot. Adaora shouted over the roar. "The river is impatient! You must choose! Now!" Uchenna's mind whirled. He looked at the path, at Adaora, at the churning river, at the unconscious troublemaker behind him. His heart pounded. Then, he stepped onto the glowing path. The moment Uchenna stepped forward, the world vanished. Not gently, not peacefully, like falling into darkness, but then landing in light. He opened his eyes. He stood on a vast plain made of shimmering water, stretching endlessly in all directions. The sky above was swirling blue, purple, silver, and beneath the transparent ground, he could see memories floating like drifting leaves, memories that were not his. Children playing in the village, women fetching water, men fishing, ancient rituals, old wars, forgotten celebrations, lost tragedies. As if the river had been watching life for centuries. Adaora appeared beside him, not glowing, not water-bound, but fully human again. She wore the same clothes she wore years ago, the day she drowned. Her eyes widened as she looked at her hands. I have my body here, she whispered. Uchenna stared. How? This is the river's memory, she said. Inside it, I exist as I once was. For the first time since he met her, Adaora looked alive. Not a spirit, not a guardian, a girl, a real girl. He felt his chest tighten, but there was no time to savor the moment. A deep voice echoed across the shimmering plain. Uchenna, son of Wosu. The sky darkened. The water beneath them rippled. A massive figure rose from the depths, made of water, light, and ancient energy. Not human, not spirit, not creature. Something older, a force. The river itself. Its voice rolled like thunder. You have come. You have been called. Uchenna's knees buckled. Adaora steadied him, gripping his arm tightly. The river's voice resonated through the air. The balance has been broken. A sacrifice must be made before Christmas dawn. Uchenna's heart dropped. A sacrifice? He whispered. Who? The river responded. The one who stirred the waters with Fon's witness. Uchenna's breath caught. Ifeanyi. Adaora gasped. No, he is foolish, but he is human. The river continued. His lies dishonored the guardian. His curiosity broke the sacred rules. Uchenna stepped forward, shaking. No, he made a mistake. He didn't know. The river's presence intensified. The river knows no ignorance, only balance. Adaora looked horrified. Uchenna, she whispered urgently. If the river takes him, it will drown him. The reality hit Uchenna hard. Ifeanyi would die, and the village would never know the truth. Uchenna's fists clenched. His voice cracked, but he forced the words out. Take me instead. Adaora gasped. Uchenna! The river surged. The cycle rumbled. Then safest. Finally, would you offer yourself? He betrayed you. He mocked you. He exposed you. Uchenna swallowed hard. Because he doesn't deserve death for trying to belong. Adaora's eyes widened. The Reekness waters calmed slightly. You would give yourself for an anemone. He's not my enemy, Uchenna whispered. He's just lost. The reed thunderous pause. Then, softly, like rainfall on leaves. Uchenna, you have veiled tops the test. Adaora gasped. The ruth conditions. The sacrifice was Noita's, was your selfishness. The glowing plain brightened. This gift stirred gold. Adaora looked at Uchenna with tears in her eyes. You saved him, she wiping. But he shook head. No, I just chose compassion. The rose because you chose light over fear. I break the chains of the guardian. Adaora's breath caught. My chains? The words rose around her like a vegetal. You are freed, Adaora. and the river dissolved into a breast of light, swallowing them both. True connections are not built on pride or appearances, but on humility, kindness, and the courage to see beyond the surface. And when jealousy enters the heart, it blinds us from the blessings meant for us. The river may hide mysteries, but the human heart hides even deeper ones. Choose goodness always. If this story touched you, inspired you, or kept you listening till the end, don't leave without supporting the channel. Like the video to help it reach more people. Comment your favorite moments to join the community. Share the story with someone who loves African folktales. Subscribe to this channel for more magical, emotional African stories every week. Your support keeps these stories alive. See you in the next tale.